Let's bring in the Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby. John, thank you for joining us again this morning. Let's start with that temporary ceasefire that appears to be in place in several cities for these humanitarian evacuations. How is it going? How long will it last?
Well, it's unclear exactly how long it's going to last, George. We think this is obviously a welcome step, that the ceasefire seems to be being observed by the Russians. They don't exactly have a good track record in that regard, so it's welcome to see that people are able to get out. But as you noted at the very beginning of the show, George, that ceasefire is going to expire in a number of hours, and so it's yet to be seen how much more violent the shelling and the bombardment is going to get.
And we saw those intense airstrikes overnight and another night of intense airstrikes before the temporary ceasefire took hold. We heard President Zelensky say right there he needs more help from the United States. No-fly zone is out. We know that right now. What more can the United States do?
We are accelerating and expediting the shipment of arms and material to Ukraine. In fact, another shipments arrived in Eastern Europe just overnight, and they will be sent into Ukraine in the coming hours and days. And there's more coming. And it's not just the United States. 14 other nations are also providing security assistance to Ukraine to help them fight. Secretary Austin had a conversation with his counterpart, his Ukrainian counterpart, Minister Reznikov, just the other day. And the minister made it clear that not only were they grateful for the arms and ammunition that they're getting, but they're using them. They're actually employing them in the field to resist the Russian advance.
How about this plan to have Poland send fighter jets into Ukraine and the United States to replace those jets? Is that really going to happen?
Well, we don't know, George, to be honest with you. Look, we're not going to stand in the way of another sovereign nation if they want to provide aircraft to the Ukrainian Air Force. That's certainly their decision, and we respect that. This issue of whether we backfilled it with American jets, we're looking at that as a possibility here, but there's an awful lot of logistical and financial issues that have to be dealt with on how that would happen. No decision has been made yet.
And is there a risk of a wider war if that happens? The planes might have to be based in Poland. They could be vulnerable to a Russian airstrike.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's a possibility that we're always looking at, George. That's certainly in the back of everybody's mind, not just the United States, but in NATO nations as well. You don't want to escalate this conflict any bigger and any worse than it already is. You're talking about Russia, a nuclear-armed power. The consequences for escalating this conflict could be devastating, not just for the people of Ukraine, but for the European continent.
It certainly seems like President Putin has made the decision to crush Ukraine. Is there any incentive anyone in the West, the United States, other Western leaders can offer towards a diplomatic solution?
We keep trying to find exactly that, George. And obviously, we have implemented severe economic consequences on Mr. Putin and on Russia. Those are starting to bite. You're starting to see the impact on his economy and his ability to finance this war. But Secretary Blinken has made clear on a whirlwind trip to Europe this week, the diplomatic door remains open. And Mr. Putin has so many options available to him militarily. The one that he also still has is diplomacy. He can sit down and negotiate a peaceful end to this.
John Kirby, thanks very much. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.